Hello everyone, and welcome to the supplementary English lesson. In this session we'll be going over the English test for the year 2019. Please grab a pen, something to take notes with, a snack and perhaps some tea, and let's get started. Thank you for being here. Alright, we start with the first question. Uncle Tan has blank news that might be of interest to us. I want you to focus on the word news here. Is it something that you can count? Can you go to your friend or family member and tell them that you have 2 news to tell them or 3 news? No, you can't do that. You'd say you have some news to say, some news to share. You can't use the other ones here because they can only be used with things that can be countable, while the word news cannot be countable, so we have to use some. We move now to the next one. Neither the girls nor their cousin blank for the picnic tomorrow. I want you to notice that all the choices we have are verbs. And for that, I have a nice trick for you. We're going to be using something I call the verb sheet. The verb sheet is basically just a sheet of paper or something you write on your computer, which contains all the verbs that you know, how to use them, when to use them, and how to formulate them. And every time you are in this same situation where you need to write down a perfect verb for the sentence or a right verb, you can go back to it and it'll make it so much easier for you to write the right choice down. So, going back to the question, I want to focus on 2 things. How many people are we talking about in this sentence? Neither the girls nor their cousin, so it's more than 2 people. It's the girls and the cousin, so we have to use are. And then the other thing I want you to focus on is going on a picnic. Is it something that you take time to do, or does it happen immediately? Do you just teleport from the place that you are in, let's say your house, to the park? You just teleport immediately and you have the picnic and boom, you're back home. No, it takes time. And there is a specific verb in the verb sheet that specifically talks about this, which is the present continuous, which when we use, we put ing at the end of the verb. And choice number 4 fits that criteria quite perfectly. So the sentence becomes, neither the girls nor their cousin are going for the picnic tomorrow. Now the third one. Everyone wants to buy her homemade pies. She is very delighted. I want you to notice something here. It is that we are talking about something that has happened and then another thing that was a result of it. Everyone wants to buy her homemade pies, and as a result of that, she is now happy. There's only one word we can use here to show the results of something, which is so. Everyone wants to buy her homemade pies, so she is very delighted. Number 4 now. My little brother had never seen a penguin before we blank the zoo. Again, this one is about verbs. We have to choose the right one, so we can use the verb sheet. But first, let's look at the sentence and see, are there any other verbs already written in it? And we see that there are. There is had never seen. What exactly is this? What tense is it? If we go and check with the verb sheet, it is the past perfect. And we know that the past perfect usually have 2 sentences in them, or 2 verbs. One of them takes the past perfect tense, while the other takes the present simple. And there is only one choice here that is written in the past tense, which is the second one, visited. My little brother had never seen a penguin before we visited the zoo. Perfect. Now number 5. Amelia Earhart was the first female pilot to fly blank the Atlantic Ocean. How do we solve this one? Well, it is very easy. We have to look for the word that describes going from one place to another and going over the Atlantic Ocean. We can't use at because at is for a specific location, so the plane has to be flying in one place, and that's not how the plane works. But across works perfectly because she is flying from point A across the Atlantic Ocean to point B, which is perfect. Now with number 6. Alice blank have given up swimming if her family had not encouraged her. So it is a very tricky one, this one. But I want to focus on one thing, which is the word encouraged. Which one of those can be used with encouragement? Will cannot be used for that because will is generally used for something that is happening in the future, and this sentence is written in something regarding the past. They have already encouraged her, so we cannot use will. We cannot use must either because must is about obligation, about something that one has to do, and her parents did not have to encourage her. They wanted to do it themselves. Now, should we use would or should? We use would because would is usually used for advice, and the encouragement her parents gave is considered advice. So the sentence becomes, Alice would have given up swimming if her family had not encouraged her. We do not use should here because usually should is used to ask for opinion, and there's no opinions that were made here in this sentence. Now we move to the next one. Vanetta always participates in class discussions blank she. I want to ask you, what time frame are we using here? Are we talking about something that is happening right now, or a future thing, or a past event? We are asking a question right now, so it's a present thing. And when we look at always, the word always, it usually goes with one specific tense of verbs, which is the present simple. And with the present simple, if we look at the options that we have here, with the present simple, we can either use do or doesn't. How do we know which one to pick? Well, we look at she. She can take does only. It cannot take do based on the rule of this verb. But why is doesn't in the negative? Well, that is because of something we call tag questions. Tag questions are used to make sure that the person we are talking to understands the point we are trying to make or emphasize it. And usually with tag questions, if the first half of the sentence is positive, then the next half should be negative, and vice versa. So because the first one was positive, the next one is negative. So the sentence becomes, Vanetta always participates in class discussions, doesn't she? Now we go to the next one. Blank. Jewelry was stolen. Yours or your mother's? The detective asked Mrs. Potts. Okay, this one is very easy. We are talking about jewelry that was stolen, so it's a object that belongs to somebody. Who does not work here because who talks about a person. Which talks about an object but does not mention anything with related to that this belongs to someone. Where talks about a place, while whose talks about an object and talks about at the same time it belonging to someone. So the sentence becomes, whose jewelry was stolen? Yours or your mother's? Excellent. Now we go to the next one. The vase with pink roses blank made of fine porcelain. What are we talking about right now? What is this exactly? This is a fact. We are telling a fact that this specific vase is made of fine porcelain. So it is made from fine porcelain. We did not use are because it's just one single vase. We do not need to use has or have because we do not use them with the present simple, which is the verb tense we are using right now, because it talks about facts. If we go and check the verb sheet, there is one verb tense that we use for facts, which is the present simple. The present simple usually takes either is or are. Which one do we choose here? How many vases do we have? Or are we talking about? We're talking about just one. So we have to pick is. The vase with pink roses is made of fine porcelain. Lovely. Now the next one. The next one is very, very easy. Mr. Arthur, together with his extended family, blank, traveling to Iceland during the upcoming December holiday. I want you to look at the sentence and tell me, who is the main focus here? Is it Mr. Arthur or his family? Mr. Arthur is the focus here, and Mr. Arthur is just one person, so we cannot use are or were. So we're left with either is or was. Okay, so the other thing I want you to look at is the word upcoming. Upcoming December holiday. So it's a holiday that is going to be coming soon. It hasn't happened before. It is something that will happen in the near future. So we cannot use were, because were is used for past thing. So we're only left with is. Mr. Arthur, together with his extended family, is traveling to Iceland during the upcoming December holiday. Now we move to the next one. Now with this next question, the way to go about it is by knowing beforehand a lot of vocabulary words. If we did not know a lot of vocabulary words, it is going to be a little bit difficult to solve this one. And I have a very nice exercise for you when it comes to vocabulary words. It is something I call the word web. What is the word web exactly? So basically, let us take an example. We pick one word, we place it in the middle of a paper, we draw a circle around it, and then we go to dictionary, an English to English dictionary, and type down what it means. After we're done that, we make some branches. On some of these branches, we can type some of the synonyms this specific word has. On other branches, we can type some words that come to our minds when we think about this word. On another branch, we can type some antonyms. And when we do that, we end up with a lot of vocabulary, a lot of words. So we started with just one, but now after this exercise, we ended up learning 10 words rather than just one, or maybe 5, or maybe 15. So this will help us learn a lot of words really quickly. Okay, so let's get going with the exercise. Marilla was blank when she saw that her basketball team was lagging behind the rival team by 5 points. So what could she be feeling right now? What would you feel in this situation? You would feel sad because that is happening. And the only word here that goes with that meaning is disheartened. Marla was disheartened when she saw that her basketball team was lagging behind. She was sad about it. Now with the next one. Due to the large audience, the organizers had set up speakers so that the performer's voice would be blank throughout the stadium. What are we talking about exactly here? What is the main focus of the sentence? It is the word voice. And what does speaker usually do? What do these speakers do? They make the voice a lot more loud. And there's only one word here that can be used for voices, which is amplified. The other choices we have can be used for other things, but this one is specifically made to be used with sounds. Now we move on to the next one. The criminal tried to break free and yelled that he had not committed the crime. Okay, so what do you think when the word criminal comes to mind? Is it someone who's kind? Is it someone who is calm? No, it is not either. Especially when the sentence says he was yelling. He is someone who is vicious, he is strong, he is demanding things, he is yelling and being very loud. So we can't use calm or meek or inaudible with this sentence. We have to use vehemently, which means poisonous, which means very, very strong. So he's yelling loudly. The criminal tried to break free and yelled vehemently that he had not committed the crime. Excellent. Now the next one. Mrs. Lim advised her son to early that night, as he would be sitting for an important examination the next day. So her son has an examination next day, and she wants him to go to bed early, from what we can understand from the sentence. And there is a specific choice here that talks about that, about going to bed, which is the first one, turn in. Turn away and turn around are used with directions, and we don't have any directions here in this sentence. Turn down is to refuse something, and he is not turning down. We do not know if he turned her down or not. So we're left with turn in. Mrs. Lim advised her son to turn in early that night, to go to bed early because of his important examination the upcoming day. Next one. At the cafe, Cecilia asked her friend if she could her belongings while she went to the toilet. So let's picture this. Cecilia and her friend are at a cafe. She left her bag on the table and she went to the toilet. If we look at the options here, do we want her friend to turn a blind eye to her stuff, to her belongings? No, because then they will get stolen. While the first one, keep an eye on. If she were to keep her eyes, and I want you to imagine this, if she is to actively keep her eyes on her friend's belongings, they would not get stolen because she is always looking at them. So nobody can just come and take them and run away because she is keeping an eye on them. Nice. Now we go to the next question. All wallabies are marsupials or pouched mammals. Young wallabies are born tiny, helpless, and undeveloped. So with this question, we are meant to read these sentences and see what word